Today, I just want to turn the camera on and really just talk about the transfer portal in college football 26, man. I think it's much improved from last year and definitely improved from the start of the year, but I think it needs some work, and I'm chalking it up this year. I don't think we're going to see any more changes to the transfer portal this year. So this video is kind of focused on college football 27, and I want to talk through improvements for the whole entire offseason, specifically the transfer portal. Please drop your comments, your ideas down below. EA has expressed they watch content creators, they watch smaller creators, and they also check the comments to see what you guys are talking about. So please drop your ideas, thought process down below, and I will share mine in this video, and let's talk about it. If y'all do enjoy this content, like, comment, subscribe, check out the ebook down below, the Twitch, all of that stuff, and let's hop in. So first, I just want to say, from the start of the year to now, the transfer portal is in a much better spot, man. I love the settings they added to the portal this year also, man. Being able to customize this thing, I think it's very good. You know, being able to add the max transfers, you know, even turning the portal off. And I've done that a couple times. Just turn the portal off, put this number to 0. So I love this. Phenomenal. Great feature. I think we could take it a step further next year. I would love to see that, you know, when it comes to the transfer portal. And then also at the start of the year, you know, a lot of guys just was disappearing in the portal. We still have that happen, but it's less, but we need to fix that. So my thought process, and I'll kind of break down how I think the offseason should go in this video game. So, you know, you get the players leaving screen. I think that's perfectly fine. You get players leaving, and then I think next draft results, all of that, that's fine. Then you get the transfer portal. Keep all of that exactly the same. And maybe you reduce the transfer portal instead of 4 windows or 4 advances. I think you reduce it to 3. And then after that, you get not training results, but you get spring training. I think you should get spring training, whether it's, you know, a spring game. I think you got to add some version of the spring game, some version of the spring practices into this next video game, man. I would love to see that. I understand it'll make the off season longer, but guess what? You could just sim through this. You don't have to play this, man. And maybe you do it kind of how like Madden in the preseason, you got like these trainings you could do for certain players, and they'll get like an extra, you know, boost. They might even get a dev tree increase. Maybe you factor in something like that. But one thing to note with my version of this, you don't get the off-season training yet. So you get the spring practice window, and maybe you just get 1 spring practice, and then you get 1 spring game, and then you get a second portal window that opens. Now this portal window, only 2 advances. So the first one, 3 advances, and then after the spring practice, spring game, however you want to do it, it really don't matter. It just needs to be some type of spring practice, spring game in this game. And then you get into the second transfer portal window. I think that will really help out with a lot of players disappearing, man. So the current issue, if you don't know, you know, the transfer portal is jumping. It's a lot of players entering this portal. You know, this is a dynasty we just started with Akron. We're a half a star school. We're no star. And, you know, I just sim to the offseason, sim to the transfer portal. You got Colin Simmons, you got Jordan Seaton in the portal. And then you got a bunch of 4-star players, a bunch of very good players, man. And some of these guys will end up not signing anywhere. They will not find a home, and they'll end up just 9 to 5 it. That should never happen. That should never happen. So my thought process, the way we fix this, and the way EA, you know, put the quick nerf in, the quick patch, whatever you want to call it, is to now have players start in the open stage, which is a good, like, fix, but didn't make it perfect. So if we add a second portal window, and everyone that didn't get picked up in the first window, well, now in that second window, every single player starts off in the open stage, and any school could recruit them. Any deal breakers they had, completely gone. Deal breaker, they're humbled. That's what we'll call it. They're completely humbled. So we have, you know, Jordan Seaton right here, and for some reason, he don't find a home. Instead of him having this championship contender deal breaker, maybe it's no longer an A, and maybe it's moved down to a C, something like that, you know. And now he could sign, I don't want to say anywhere, but because he still should be going to a good school. But instead of this guy just completely disappearing, if he don't end up with an offer or end up signing anywhere, you know, have that second portal window And then also, if with the spring practice and the spring game, if you don't have guys that's starting, well, maybe they going to transfer. If you have a senior backup quarterback, okay, he might hop into that second portal window if he's not in the starting spot. I think it should be some element of that because we see that all the time. It's frustrating in real life when your favorite school bring in, a transfer quarterback, and then he goes through spring practice, the spring game, and he hopped right back in the portal. He went to the school for literally 4 months, and he's back in the portal. That happens all the time, and it should happen in the game, And you'll see sometimes, like especially with some of these top teams, Georgia, Alabama, they'll bring in 3 starting quarterbacks. I've seen it. I'm sure y'all seen it also, man. We come over here to quarterbacks and we search by 4 stars. You'll see some top quarterbacks. I've seen Eli Holstein on like Alabama also with another, starting quarterback. And it don't make no sense. 3 starting quarterbacks that's starting at their current school would never all go to Alabama. So adding that second spring window will allow the game to adjust itself. So Eli Holstein transferred to Alabama. He don't win the starting job. Okay, he hops right back into that portal, and it gives a second opportunity for him to find a school that actually wants him or a school that actually would start him instantly. So definitely love the idea of that, man. Love the idea of that second portal window. And I think also we need to get to the point where we're unlocking from 35. I think 35 is too low for targets. I just think in real life you have teams sometimes bringing in 50 players. Look what Colorado did the past couple years. Obviously that's only Colorado as they was flipping the entire roster. But why we could only bring in 35 and teams literally brought in 50 plus multiple years in a row. So I think we need to adjust that. Also, walk-ons, man. I would love to have walk-ons in the game, man. Love to have walk-ons. I think that's another way to fix these guys disappearing. Okay, they don't sign anywhere. They walk onto a team. Easy. They walk onto a team. Like super easy for them to fix some of this stuff. And once we advance to the end of this transfer portal, you'll see how many guys really just disappear in the portal. And you'll see it in the high school level too. Like we're looking at high schoolers right here. If we just sort by offers for the 4 stars, all of these 4-star high schoolers don't sign anywhere. We talking about top 200 running backs not signing anywhere. But guess what? You add that second portal window. Well, now these guys start off in the open stage and you could sign them. They didn't find a home. Now they're just open to signing anywhere. I think that's another way to kind of fix these guys just completely disappearing. Because for me, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating when your top guy, your top wide receiver transfer out and he ends up not signing anywhere because he just don't find a home for one reason or another, and you can't even bring him back to his original university. So also, I think we need to just improve the deal breakers overall, and especially this playing style deal breaker, man. I think it's super janky. In the last update, they kind of talked about making improvements to the playing style deal breaker. Also, the playing time deal breaker will also being janky. You'll have a guy transfer out for playing time, even though the starter at that position went on to the NFL early and he would be next up, the backup, but he transfers out for playing time. You're the starter, bro. Just, why are you leaving? So stuff like that has been improved. But I think we just need to make a little bit of an adjustment to these deal breakers. We had it for 2 years in a row, this deal breaker situation. I think it's time we move on to the next thing. And what that next thing is, maybe I don't have the answer right now, but the deal breakers, I'm over it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm over it, man. It's janky. It's janky. The playing style one, like I said in the last update, they patched it. They made some tweaks to it, so it clearly wasn't working right. And in the past, I had a corner win Defensive Player of the Year. Not Defensive Back of the Year. He won that also. But he won Defensive Player of the Year, and he transferred out for playing style. I don't care what stat he needs to put up. He should never transfer out for playing style when he led the nation in picks and he also won Defensive Player of the Year. Transferred out. Playing style was his reason. To me, that should never happen. Stuff like that should never happen. But they only focus on like whatever that specific stat is. So I wish that stuff would be in a lot better spot. And like I said, I'm kind of over the deal breaker situation. I think and like I said, maybe I don't have the perfect answer right now, but I think we need to find the next system for, recruiting and all of this transfer portal and deciding when a guy interested and when he's not. So with the patch that they dropped mid-year, I think they made the transfer portal easy. A little bit too easy. So we are a no star school. We're at literally half a star with horrible grades, and we didn't bring in one player during the regular season. Every single player on this board is a transfer. All I did here was just advance to the transfer portal. I didn't have all the recruiting on, and once I got to this transfer portal, all I did was search by 3 stars. We have no 3 stars transfers interested in us, but a bunch of them are already in the open stage. So I just added a bunch of these players that was in the open stage. I just added them to the board. And now I'm interested to see how many we could bring in. Added 35 of them. And all I did was offer them scholarships. I'm going to go ahead and allocate some hours, and I'm interested to see how many of these guys we could get. And I think we'll be able to get a few of them just because it's so many players that get under recruited in the portal that you'll be able to get a lot of these guys for free. So let's just put hours into some of them. And I want to advance and just show you how quickly you could flip a roster. And reminder, we're a no-star team. When you're a 2-star, you could go crazy. Reminder, we're also like a 61 overall team. We're 61 overall. We're very bad. And let's advance and just show you how fast you can flip a roster. So after this first week, you'll quickly see who's being recruited and who's not. So like these first 2 guys, we're the only one to offer a scholarship. We move up to first place. Perfect. Easy. Perfect. This guy, nobody's scouting. Nobody's recruiting them. This guy, we're in second place. So we could kind of just go through and add the guys we get locked out of. And like even a player like this, we jump up to first place. Well, we could just remove the hours from him now. And now let's go at the next guy, And all of these 3 stars pretty much are being under recruited. This guy, too many scholarships. 2, I don't want to have to deal with that. We could just go after another guy because there's so many guys you could get for pretty much free. And all the guys that locked us out, just remove them and we'll go back to the board and just add guys that's being under recruited. It's a pretty easy method to bring in, pretty good players. And you could flip a roster instantly. I'm not complaining saying this, unrealistic, but it makes it almost too easy. So I don't know the answer. I think recruiting overall just needs to be a little bit harder. And but it's like, damn, you could just flip your team super easy, especially when you go with the method, when you go after freshmen that's coming from very, very good programs, Come over here to the transfer portal, come over here to 3 stars, and let's do our method. Just sort by guys that's under recruited. And, you see an under-recruited freshman quarterback from Florida. He's probably pretty good. He's probably going to have a pretty good development trait. I don't recognize the name, but he's probably pretty good. Let's go ahead and add him to the board. And we'll continue to go through. Look for underclassmen that's coming from bigger programs. Freshman running back that's coming from Nebraska. Yes, we will add that. A freshman quarterback coming from Texas. Yes, we will add that. He's probably going to have a pretty good development trait. Freshman quarterback coming from Georgia. One of these guys, freshman quarterback coming from Penn State. Yes, like one of these guys will have a good development trait, and that's a fact. Austin, sophomore quarterback from Oregon, also could add that as well. And you could go position by position and really just find a lot of guys that's being under recruited, and you can get them literally for free. So all you really have to do is just put hours in for 1 week. We advanced and we put 50 hours into pretty much all 4 of these guys for just that 1 week, and we jump up to first place. So remove the hours, and guess what? Just go on to the next guy. This is the freshman quarterback from Florida, and let's put 50 hours there. And like I said, a lot of these guys we're going to get just for putting 50 hours in for literally 1 week. And why not go after all of these freshman quarterbacks that's coming at the big schools? Because all we need is one of them to have a good development trait and for him to progress pretty well in this offseason. And we're going to be in a great spot next year. Advance another week, and all of these guys, we jumped up to first place. All the guys we just put 50 hours in, So I remove the hours. I'm just put 50 hours into the next guy. We're not looking to fill up the bar. All we're looking for is to move up the first place and have the scholarship out there. We don't even need to move up the first place. We really just need to have the scholarship out there and just move up on his board, and we're going to be good enough. So the next guys will just put 50 hours in, offer the scholarship with the goal of just moving up on their board. We got locked out for these two guys. It doesn't matter. We're already in first place. He's going to commit even though he's locked us out. He's going to commit. So this is going to be the last advance. I just want to show y'all the team. 83 overall is our best player, 79, and it gets pretty nasty. 61 overall is our, team overall. So we advance. It's going to be National Signing Day, and we'll be able to see just some of the players we signed. And reminder, we went into this all season with 0 players. And let's see how much we end with. All right, so I just got done pressing X for the last 60 seconds, just skipping through all of the players we signed, which is crazy. We need to find a better way to go about that. So let's see what class we brought in, man. And like I said, this is with only signing players in the portal, and we signed 22 transfer portal guys, number 57th class. And like I said, my issue, we are a 0-star school. I get it. If you're, Utah signing 22 transfers, okay. Akron is not signing 22 3-star transfers. And some of these guys are going to be, you'll see, some of these guys will be very, very good players, man. So let's look at development traits quickly. Impact, normal, impact. A lot of impact. Star development on the quarter. Patrick, he's the quarterback. We'll take that. Like I said, going after one of these freshmen from big schools, we knew one of them would have a star development trait, and that's all you need. Star, that player getting drafted every single time. As long as he have okay skill caps. Don't even need phenomenal, just okay. He's going to be a guy for us. Impact. Let's continue to look here. A lot of impact. Another star guy on linebacker. Let's continue to look. Impact, star on defensive tackle. He's a freshman transferring in. Star development on a Will linebacker. He's older. He'll be a senior. And then, yeah, pretty good. Star development on this running back also. It's a pretty darn good class. And let's go ahead and advance. I have auto progression on, and I'm just interested to see how much our team jumps up in overall. And I imagine it'll be pretty good. From a 61 up to a 61. I think we got to advance it next season to see the actual overall change. But you see the amount of transfers we brought in. The running back, 88 overall. I mean, we solid. The quarterbacks, much better quarterback play. You got a couple freshmen here, redshirt freshmen, and now you just got the choice. And we got these guys for free. Patrick right here will be the quarterback of the future if we want him to be, with great skill caps. Also star development. And you get these guys for pretty easy, man. And it's not like I'm trying to complain about this, but it's like for me, if I'm rebuilding a small team, it's like I almost gotta limit myself on the transfer portal. And I don't love that. I just don't love that. I would much rather be able to play the game and just play it how, I guess the devs intended to be played. But no, I feel like I gotta limit myself. So advancing to the next season, the team overall has jumped up to a 74. That's a hell of a jump for one season. So overall, like I said, I just wanted to talk about the transfer portal and, just give EA, you guys, some ideas about how I want the transfer portal and the all season to look next year, man. I think this year I don't expect to see many changes to the portal at all. I don't expect to see any more changes to the portal this year. But next year I think we can make some major strides, especially with like simple stuff, just adding spring practice. Whether it's one practice or just one spring game, add it, and then add that second transfer portal window afterwards. I think that'll lead to a lot of issues we have with the transfer portal currently. I think that'll fix a lot of them. Just allowing us to sign more players also would be a pretty good improvement, man. So y'all let me know your thoughts down below. I want to hear your thoughts down below. If y'all enjoyed this content, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all boys. Check out the book. We on to the next one.